The question for this video today is, what happens when you realize someone is making you into more of a friend than you actually are? Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Lenora Faye. I was going to say welcome to the Lenora Faye channel, but that just comes out like a big jumbled mess, so I'm not going to do that. So welcome to my channel. I am your host, and I like to have deep conversations about life. I start the conversation by sharing my personal experiences, and then I invite you to share your insights in the comments below. So the premise of this conversation, this question, comes from a situation that I found myself in relatively recently. This is somebody, and my Canadian is trying to kick in. I'm trying to keep it polite and tactful, but I think I just have to let that all go. So this was someone who I met through a project that I was doing. We met virtually. And over the course of a couple years, like, with any interaction, you get to know people. And so basically this is in a business setting. And a lot of things I do stem from a business setting. So I'm always in a business mindset. It takes me a minute to pull out of that mindset and get into personal. And I guess where I'm coming from this particular situation is that business comes first over everything else. So just keep that in mind as I tell you this story. So I'm sitting in my car and I reach out to this person because there's some information that they need to know about the future development of this project that they have been involved with in the past. And this isn't someone who, like, we're not business partners. This is someone that's technically, if you were talking about an employee, this would be someone I am managing or being a boss of without it actually being that situation. But that's the gist, right? Meaning I say, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's what I would like you to do. Okay. Again, so that's the scenario. And again, over time, you get to know people. We share certain things about our personal lives and we're friendly. And this is a theme that I'm starting to understand a bit more as I navigate friendships in my 40s, because I'm a woman in her 40s, is that, there's polite, there's being kind, and there's being nice. And I'm also Canadian, so people, like, again, like, take it to a whole new level or a whole different level. So all these things are kind of coming up in my life that I'm going, oh man, like, navigating friendships, especially in a business context, is tricky as an adult. And they don't tell you this in college. At least I didn't take that course. But they should make one. So anyway, I'm in my car. It occurs to me that I have to let this person know something that's relevant to them in the future for this particular project. So I text them that and leave it. Like, I'm not in a space to talk about personal things. I'm not interested, and I'm just not in that headspace. I'm just focused on the task at hand. So this person replies, and then immediately after asks me if I am interested in knowing what's going on in their personal life, because apparently I'm going to find out about it later anyway. Not quite sure what that meant. So I said, no, I don't want to know what's going on. Wishing you the best, but please don't tell me. I don't want to know. I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but I said I didn't want to know. So then the reply comes back as, okay, but as my friend, I thought you would. Immediately I shut down. I'm like, no. And there's a lot of context to this that I know that you don't as the listener. But bottom line, that moment, I realized that this person had placed me in a level of friendship that I don't agree to, that she is not that level of friend for me. And this is something I'm exploring, talking about in other videos about levels of friendship. Again, I'm a friendly, outgoing person. It's easy for me to share with people, like, as I get to know people. It's easy for me to open up and share things because that's just the kind of personality I have. And I've come into this in the past where people interpret that as, oh, we are really, really close. And when you are in a collaborative, let's say, working environment with somebody, and you're the one that is giving the instruction, and they've agreed to, do tasks like basically working for you or volunteering or what have you, where you're, I'm going to say, a higher up, because, like, it's my project, people come on board and help with it. So I am doling out, tasks to do. And that's the case in this situation. And there have been times where, again, we've confided in each other on certain things. That's great. I also knew that this is not someone who's in my close inner circle. And now it's making me reflect, going, have I given that impression? And maybe I have, but okay. So now I'm in this situation where someone says to me, well, I thought as my friend, and to me, it's really cut and dry, like clear, cut and dry that this is, I'm in business mode. And when I say no, I don't want to know, I'm legit, I don't want to know. This, again, this isn't somebody that I would hang out with outside of this situation. Um, we don't vibe on that level, at least for me. But clearly, it's I'm being placed in a situation where this person sees me as more of a confidant on a friend than I can reciprocate. And I cannot give my energy to that person. I have a select small core group of friends that have kind of earned that right. And it's a very mutual feeling. She's not in that. So after I get this text that said, okay, got it, as my, I thought as my friend, and I immediately got, I'm going to say angry. It irked me because again, I was focused on solutions to different things. I was not in the mood to deal with that. And so all I did was reply, I'm not in the headspace for this. I have to compartmentalize, meaning it's got to be business. I can't deal with anything personally that you're dealing with. I should have said, I'm not that friend for you, but I didn't. I was like, what happens with me, and I've seen this since high school, because one day I'll share what a breakup session I had with my best friend from high school, who I've never spoke to since. Um, keep in mind, I'm a friendly Canadian, but the whole point is that when you find yourself in a situation where someone makes you into what you're more than what you are, and I don't see us that way. And then when someone comes, like even my close friends understand, like my good people that I consider like dear friends, and they know who you guys know who you are. They first of all would never say that to me because they know, okay, Lenora's not available to have this conversation right now. And they don't have a timeline or an expectation. They say what they need to say. Well, first of all, they never ask me that question. Anyone that really knows me does not ask me that question. They just straight up and say, okay, here's what's happening. I'm like, and when I respond when I can. And if they're in my core group, like they know that we will have a discussion and support around that, right? But no one who I consider who I'm actually in a friendship with says that, well, as my friend, I thought, because they understand who I am and how I operate. And this is simply how I operate. And so, well, there's one more part to this story. So after I respond and say, I'm not in the headspace to talk about this, I need to compartmentalize, I left it at that. A few minutes later, I'm on Facebook because part of what I do is social media involved. And this person has posted how they hope that no one has ever made them feel like they've posted that they hope they have never made anyone feel like they could not talk to them about something. And I'm like, are we in high school again? From that moment on, I'm like, this person is out of my organization. I'm sorry. This is not adult behavior. This isn't. And this is where I invite you to, share your insight on this. Not even about my particular situation. I've handled it the way I've handled it, and it's done. But man, did that set something in motion where I'm like, I need to talk about this, navigating friendships as an adult. And when you find yourself in these situations where you have to, like in this particular case, I have to establish a boundary of, look, business is going to come first because this is business related. Again, this is not someone who is employed by me, but they are involved in what I do, and to a capacity of where I give them tasks to do. I'm trying not to give like details that like implicate people specifically. So it's a little bit vague, but I have to because this is business. Don't take it personally. But what I realized throughout this whole interaction, like that's like the whole, okay, first of all, I don't, It's like if I went on Facebook and started posting, oh, this, I guess, no, maybe that's what this is. I have to talk about it because this is what I do. I use real life as content. But anyway, whatever. We can analyze that till the cows come home. Uh, so that interaction made me realize this person is not, and we're not that far different in age. I'm a 41-year-old woman at the time of this recording. I guess I have higher expectations on boundaries and people understanding that when I say no, I'm not available, and we are not of the friendship level where I am obligated to drop everything and tend to you. I would never expect that of anyone except for maybe my brother, because he and I are very close, and that's the only person, and a few key friends, but still we honor and respect each other's time. I would never say, well, as my friend, I would think. I don't operate that way. This person does. Okay, I can't change that. But I am no longer having this person in any part of what I do, business, personal, otherwise, no. I don't like, and this is the point, and this is why I share this, because I feel, and I've seen this, especially when social media is involved and, online, and whether you know someone in real life or virtually, it's like, do we really, what do we tolerate in our friendships? This has made me have so many discussions with people that I know about friendships, and we start talking about the kinds of friendships we have with different people. And I'm a social butterfly, but I'm also like someone that likes to live alone and travel alone. So I'm not the type of person that's going to have a big group of friends around me. I like to be by myself, and I'm also very social. So when someone does that to me, when they approach me, and if you've ever sent me a DM that says, "Oh, I'm looking for new friends," or "We should be friends," I am I'm the person that uh immediately says no to that. I don't go out seeking friends. Again, it's easy for me to say because I have an outgoing personality. I can go to the grocery store and have a great conversation with anybody. Like, I also wear gold shoes. So, I mean, like, people come up and talk to me. Like, it's just, that's just my personality. I don't ever feel lonely, and I don't feel like I can't connect with people. I know how to do that. And not everyone's like that, and that's fine. But because of that, I don't need, like, I don't, I'm not like seeking friends. If things progress naturally and organically, that's how my friendships evolve. Like, the people that are my friends now are either, have been friends with me forever, and we've, gone to live our lives, and we live in different towns, different cities, different provinces. If you're in Canada, different states, like different countries, even, like, none of that matters to me. It's because we have a connection, and as busy as we've been, life has taken us different places. We've maintained a natural friendship, and these are deep friendships where we talk about deep things and we can confide in each other. But that has taken a long time, and it's never been premeditated, right? So this is the thing. I find myself sometimes, and this one is really set me off where I have to do a YouTube video about it, where that's made me go, let's talk about like friendships. What are we freaking tolerating? Look, if you are somebody that does need someone to drop everything or even want to know, fine. Not knocking that. I am not that person, especially when we're not at that friendship level. And this is where if someone, and I can't explain to people, look, we're not there. We haven't, like, this person is not going to be there for me, because if you're acting like that now, forget about it. It's way too demanding. I am not of that personality. I can't pretend to be that person that drops everything. I'm just not. And if you're not that person, you shouldn't feel obligated either. And this is the thing. This is like I have no answer to anything. I don't even know if I'm asking a question. The whole point is to have a discussion. And if you're feeling a certain way about it, please let me know. Because this is the tricky thing about adulthood, is that we find ourselves, being friends with people, sometimes wondering, why are we still friends with people? And that's the interesting thing, is like, if it's a legacy friendship, if they've been in your life for years, and you just, you kind of feel obligated to still interact with them, even though you deep down don't want to be involved with them. And this whole scenario has made me realize that I didn't actually want to be friends with this person. But there's sometimes you want to maintain a connection because they don't have a lot of friends, or quite honestly, if you feel bad for somebody, and not like deep pity, but you're like, oh, you want to help them along, you want to help them develop as human beings, you know? And in this particular situation, because it was like it was on the business side of things, it was easy for me to kind of slip into the role of like, okay, good, I can kind of mentor, right? In this, because they were curious about learning and this person really wanted to learn. And I'm happy to help people learn things, especially when they're not in a position to otherwise have, you know, those kind of connections. So that's really what it was about from my end. Clearly not on her end. So, okay, no one's wrong. This is just how, like, I can't, business comes first. I'm sorry. This is not somebody that's in my personal circle, no matter how much it appears like that to them. And if I tell you, if I can't reach out to you in a business sense without getting a pile of personal stuff back, this is why I don't work really well being hired by people because I'm sorry, I don't want to know. I mean, I have met coworkers, have had great experiences for temporary time, and you know, but that's a lot. And I'm not there to unleash on people. And if they unleash on me, I can tolerate that for so long. And then I'm like, sorry, can we get back to business, please? Obviously, this person could not handle that interaction, so I've had to cut ties. And that's the story. But it's really opened up this whole thing for me of going, okay, we need to talk about navigating friendships as adults, because what are we tolerating? Again, whether you're the person that is needy, that needs someone around all the time, are you making people be that for you and they're not that of that vibe? Do you care? Or if you're like me, where we're like, okay, it's too much, too clean. Like, I can't be that to somebody else. Do we feel bad about it? Because I don't know, maybe some of you think I should be more, uh, I should care more, but I don't. Because this is not, again, this is not, uh, I view this whole scenario in from a business point of view. And if you can't handle that in a business setting, you're definitely not coming into my personal life on a deeper level than, you know, I've maybe opened a few doors, but no, not anymore. Yeah. Adulthood, friendships. There's a lot more to say on this, but that's the first thing that's really been irking me. Um, I'm okay, and there's another thing that I want to mention, but I think this is gonna be I'll get another video of when you meet somebody and they don't have a lot of friends, and again, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep that in here. This will be really quick. Okay. If you're not familiar with, and you're probably not, with the work I do, I am an advocate as well, for people that have chosen not to have children. And while I won't be talking too much about that on this particular platform, it's a, you know, I will reference it from time to time. So, I'm on different social media platforms, and of course you get a lot of messages from people, right? So, there's this one person a few years ago who reached out to me on Pinterest of all places. The only time I've ever had a conversation with anybody on Pinterest. And, you know, I replied and then they replied back. And it kind of, I think it was like a year and a half, I would just respond to this person because I felt bad. They literally had nobody else but their husband to talk to. And then I kind of found out why people just avoid being friends with this person. But, you know, when you're in a different country and you're online, you feel safe until I started taking longer and longer to reply to that person. And then I was starting to feel obligated to respond. Like if I didn't respond after 2 days, man, did I get made out to be the bad person? And then I was getting so busy with these events that I was doing. I was like, I just don't have the bandwidth to reply to this person because I was having to explain my life and they didn't want to talk about anything except complaining about stuff. And I'm like, why am I doing this? But I felt obligated. So, you know, being a nice Canadian, this wasn't really nice of me at all. But I just kept replying back. And then I didn't reply for 2 weeks. For some reason, I felt compelled to write out the whole entire explanation of what I've been doing for 2 weeks, which is including putting on a virtual convention. Uh, I wrote out this whole long thing and then I hit send and it turns out she had blocked me. So I was like, okay, well, that took care of that situation. I never have to speak to that woman again. But again, I take the responsibility is in the fact that I actually didn't want to be friends with this person. I felt bad. So I replied, but that, I mean, I reply to most people right away, but now I'm starting to kind of pick up on things faster. So if I feel it's going to be one of those situations, I don't respond. And I might be mistaken, I don't know, but look, you got to protect yourself. So again, I share all of this to say, you know, I, it's just that we need to talk about that. Like friendship is tricky, and making friends as adults is not that easy. Even, for myself, I'm more open to it, and it's not as challenging, I realize, just because I'm an outgoing person. I do meet a lot of people, and what I find is when I realize partway through a conversation or after months of interaction, oh, this is not somebody I actually care to be friends with. So now how do I navigate that? So this is video one. This might be me doing therapy. I'm going to leave it at that. So if you have any comments, questions, well, I don't know if I can answer any questions, but whatever. Whatever you want to do, thoughts, comments. I'm not suggestions, sure. I'm not looking for suggestions, but people like to send them anyway, so whatever. Leave them in the comments below. If you have any experiences that you are that are similar. Everything I do is public, so just keep it public. I don't know if you can DM. I'm not really super familiar with YouTube anymore, it seems like. But anyway, we'll start with that. And then if some of you may know how to contact me in other places, and we'll do that. If I don't reply to you, don't take it as a sign that I don't want to talk to you, but gotta protect my peace here. So until next time, thank you for watching.